professional SGL, or should I say the professional SGL, coming at you live from Fort Lee, Virginia. Listen, we are in the building. We got the special guests in the building, the one and only Staff Sergeant Jackson. How's it going?
What it do, Warriors? What's going on?
Hey, listen, man. Glad you got the opportunity to accept and be on the show. So before we even get started, you know how we do things here at NCOPD Live. We like to get the ball rolling, kind of like an ice break, if you would. So I have something in store for you. Ooh. You are going to play quick in 60 seconds.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So the way this goes is look, everybody's already checking you out. What's going on, Sergeant Selman?
What it do? 513 is my ALC class leader.
Okay. I see they in the building. Shout out to your class. Which class is it?
007, 5513, 92 Yankee class. Staff Sergeant Soto.
ALC 92 Yankee 007.
We got the keys.
I think I remember that motto on the field. We always turn around looking. Who over there making all that noise?
Oh, we was hyped. Sergeant Soto led the way, honey.
Yeah, that's my battle too. So nevertheless, let's get to this quick in 60. So the way this goes, I am going to ask you 12 questions. And you have 60 seconds to answer these 12 questions. Okay. Now, the clock will not start until I answer the first question. Okay. Do you understand the rules?
Roger.
Do you have any questions?
Negative.
Are you ready?
I am.
Okay. Hey, be resilient.
I say who?
All right.
Okay.
The first question is, what is your favorite color?
Purple.
What does NCOPD stand for?
Non-commissioned Officer of Professional Development.
Who is the current Secretary of Defense?
Ooh, next slide.
Competence, commitment, and
dedication.
No, it's another starts with a C. Competence, commitment,
character.
Yes. Favorite duty location.
Fort Gordon.
Favorite mentor.
You.
Who is the current SMA?
Sergeant Major of the Army Granston.
Where is HQDA, the Pentagon, located at?
In oh God. Wow, what is that, Virginia?
Okay. What is the fourth Army value?
Oh, you know I gotta say LDR-ship, leadership, integrity.
The fourth Army value?
LDR-ship. Selfless service.
Favorite hobby?
Ooh, reading.
Favorite vacation spot?
Orlando.
Chicken, beef, or pork?
Vegetarian. Oh my God, I'm not the standard. I ain't the standard.
118. 1 minute, 18 seconds.
But you know what? I'm glad I'm the resilient warrior. Huh?
Hey, that's what that
the optimistic way of looking at this is I answer some of them.
See what I'm saying? This is why we got her on the platform tonight. When I talk about a resilient NCO, you are looking at that individual right here. So we're gonna chalk that up.
Okay.
Life still goes on. Okay. So we have the one and only Staff Sergeant Jackson in the building. We are going to let her introduce herself. So hold on before we do that. So the Pentagon is not in Washington, D.C. The Pentagon is in Northern Virginia.
I thought VA,
yeah. So when you say HQDA Pentagon, they say DC.
Right.
Actually, no, the Pentagon is not in DC. The Pentagon is in Northern Virginia. It's Arlington.
HRC for some reason. I'm thinking like, hold on, Fort Knox. Like, I don't know.
If you said Fort Knox, I'd have been like, all right, everybody, if you see something wrong and you fail to do something about it, we've been ending the show.
standard.
We done ended the show real quick. So, Sergeant Jackson, what's going on, man? Tell myself and the followers who you are, a little bit about you, favorite hobbies, thing you like to do. What do you want us to know? Who is Sergeant Jackson? The mic is yours.
All right. I am Staff Sergeant Marquita Nicole, aka Molly Deadwyler-Jackson. I was born in Atlanta, Georgia, A-Town. Actually stationed here at Fort Gordon, 707th in my battalion. I am a dual military, married to a 6'8" Romeo, food inspector. A mother of 4, 2 girls, 2 boys. We got a dog that we rescued at Fort Bliss, and we had a rabbit, but she hopped away. And what we like to do is we like to just live life, just live life. We love being around family. It feels real good to be back home. I feel like a tourist in my city, though. I must say that because Atlanta done changed so much. I love being a soldier. I never wanted to be anything but a soldier. I pay homage to my aunt. My aunt was in the WAC. You know what I'm saying? She was kind of like that role model, growing up. Yvonne, I know you watch, girl. And it was just something to look forward to. So honestly, when people say, well, how you end up joining the Army at 31? Like, it was my journey. It wasn't my time, and it was his. So I legit shipped out to basic training on my 31st birthday. So, yeah, I was Mama Jack in basic training, older than my drill sergeants.
Wow. Older than your drill sergeants.
Older than my drill sergeants.
Okay. So Molly, I ain't gonna let that slide. Where did that come from?
My mama.
Her mama.
But if you know me, you know me as Molly. You really don't know, like Marquita. You like Marquita. Who's that Marquita you speak of? But you know me as Molly. I've always been called Molly. I always do grade school and everything. I've always been Molly. So it's like my alias. So
that was the nickname that your mom gave you.
Yeah.
Just kind of grew on you.
It kind of gets stuck with me. I mean, she said, I wish I should have named that legally. So I think I'm gonna make that happen for her real soon. Don't tell nobody.
What if she's watching?
She's watching. Hey, money.
You know what? So you must don't know NCOPD Live. There's somebody that probably watched this show, that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows your mama. Let's get back. Do you not know where you are? You are on. Wait a minute. Who we got in the building?
Oh, hey, mommy.
What's going on, man? Special shout out to the one and only, the mother of Staff Sergeant Jackson, Miss Deadwyler. How you doing, ma'am?
Let me tell you what her power statement is. My mama don't know much about MRT, right? But anytime I get down and dump, she be like, hey, you Lisa Deadwyler, child.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So I guess that's okay. Get it back together,
Look at what Jack say. Molly, guess what? That's what we calling her. So let's check this out. Everybody that's watching right now, hashtag Molly. Let's go. Hashtag Molly in the comments. That's what we calling her tonight.
Hey, I appreciate y'all. Ain't that like a virtual Facebook friend? Boy, I swear, I appreciate you, son, first class, Jack.
Mom says she's doing fine. We glad to see we got mom in the building. Mom is watching. So I'm gonna tell you this before we even get started talking.
Mm-hmm.
So man, I had my peoples tried to do a little surprise for you today. It didn't happen. We didn't get it because she didn't reach back. However, I reached out to your aunt and tried to get her to come on to the show.
Are you for
real? I was going to surprise you with your aunt to appear on the show.
Oh my
God.
God.
Along with you.
You know I'm an emotional warrior. You gonna make me.
I know, but she didn't reach back. So if she's watching, if you check your inbox, you got a message.
Oh,
but
wow.
we tried to reach out to her and get her to pop on, at the last minute, just to come on and tell her how proud she is of you, and give us a little insight on when she was in the WAC and all of that. We was gonna have her on.
Oh my God, that is awesome.
But I tell you what. So Aunt Yvonne, if you're watching, we're gonna get you on the show because we want to talk some women's history once here in the near future. So who better to talk this than somebody that was in the WAC? So right. I'm letting you know, ma'am, standing invitation is coming. Women's history. We're gonna get you on the show and give us some of that great knowledge that you have. Talk to us about some of the things, how it was back in the day versus what you see in today's Army as well. Guys, we got all the hashtag Mollies are checking in. So check this out. So we're going to talk resiliency today. So let me throw this disclaimer out there. This It's not your quarterly training for MRT. I say again, this is not your quarterly training for MRT. So don't go back to your unit talking about, hey, I should be green on MRT because I watched NCOPD live. Probably not gonna work. And I don't need all these commanders emailing me and trying to find out because I don't know who's watching. I know you just got people watching and stuff like that. So nah. So my first question to you is what does resiliency mean to you in your own words?
Realizing that life is gonna happen and then you can do about it. We just continue to Charlie Mike. You got to keep pushing. You got to keep pushing because you can't change life. And I know a lot of times people hear resiliency and they want to correlate that to the Army, right? And they want to just like, when I talk about resiliency training and MRT and what it means to me, a lot of times, my civilian, followers, they'll just kind of be like, they don't listen to me as much because they think it's not for them, but it's for everybody. MRT is for everybody. It's for DA civilian, it's for soldiers. I mean, it's for the officer corps. It's for everybody, and it's a part of life. And a lot of us are being resilient, and we didn't even know it was a term for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's amazing. I think it's an underappreciated Army program that we have. I think a lot of times when we are exposed to resiliency and when we hear about it, we're looking like, oh man, we're gonna hunt the good stuff. We're gonna hunt the good stuff again. But it is so much more to resiliency than hunting the good stuff. Like, when MRT is taught properly, like to time, you know what I'm saying? Like to standard, not the time, like it will open up your eyes, sorry. I mean, it opened up your eyes to everything. It changed my life. And I'm being like real transparent. It changed my life. It did. And a lot of times me living in constantly exercising my MRT skills makes me hold myself accountable. Because every day I don't want to be happy, you know what I'm saying? But I got to sit up there and I go back and forth with myself. Them videos that I make, I really be doing that, y'all. Like the mental games, true story. When I did the mental games video, I don't know if y'all seen the mental games, I'm going back and forth. I was sitting in my supply cage. 92 Yankee, right? Ain't reclass. I'm sitting up there trying to do a lateral transfer in G Army. And I'm sitting up there like, never did it, y'all. I know y'all probably think like, she a staff sergeant. Yeah, I'm a staff sergeant. Never did a lateral transfer in G Army. And I legit stopped and played a mental game. And I got the lateral transfer done. It was some errors, but hey, I started. And that's all that matters.
Okay. So what do you say to, before I go to the next question, I just want to throw this question there. So what do you say to an individual like Miss Smith here who wants to do the MRT class? What do you say to her?
I said, I would ask her, what about the class that she wants? I would ask her, what is she seeking when she wants to attend the class? And I ask people that. And let me tell you why I say that. Because when I went to the MRT class, right, I remember when I was first told, I wanted to go to MRT class. Honestly, another transparent moment. I used MRT before I went to behavior health. And let me tell you what I mean by that. I said I wanted to, everybody seen me, so I lost my grandmother, right? And when I lost my grandmother, it kind of, it hit me. It hit me bad. It hit me bad. I had never really experienced, it's like, when you grow up with those, matriarchs in your family, you kind of like, you used to seeing people there, you know what I'm saying? Like you used to see your grandma there, like, what you mean she ain't here no more, right? So I was going to work and I'm just sitting up there like, man, you know what I'm saying? Man, just mad. I felt guilty for being happy. I couldn't smile. Like I was, going in this office, going to open door sergeant, talking to my sergeant major, my battalion next. So everybody's just sitting up there telling me, they're sharing their stories, trying to get me back because I'm loud. I always got something to say. I'm always happy and everything. And they noticed a change in me. And when I went to MRT, I finally got in there because I felt like, okay, well, I'm gonna go to MRT. And like my counterparts were telling me, yeah, girl, you go to MRT, you're gonna be good. You're gonna be good. So I went to MRT thinking the MRT was gonna fix me. So my first day in MRT, I'm sitting up there looking around. I'm like, man, we got all this rank up in here. He a commander. Okay. He a sergeant first class. Oh, wow. I'm just sitting back there with an attitude. Like, let me just get through this. Right. And then it was like day 2 that I had my aha moment. Right. And it was because the sergeant major, he's a retired sergeant major right here at the Resilience R2 Performance Center on Fort Gordon. And he pulled me to the side. He was like, Sergeant Jackson, what's going on? You're not really interacting with the class. And I'm like, cuz I don't want to be talking about tree hugging and stuff, man. I don't want to talk about this. And when he broke it down to me that MRT is meant to be proactive and not reactive, it changed my life because I looked at it like it was gonna fix me. Like, let me be clear. Like, MRT is not behavior health. If you got behavior health issues, or if you battling with something mentally, MRT is something that you look at as like a mental armor. It's like that comparison you said earlier, kind of like that. It's that oil for your engine. It's kind of like to keep you going. But I went there thinking that I was just gonna be good, because before I even went to the class, my spouse went to the class. Staff Sergeant Jackson. He went to the class and he came home and he was just kind of like, so what is it about this bothers you? And I'm like, nah, bro, you ain't finna MRT me. I don't want to hear it. And I was really pushing it away because I wanted to waddle in my sadness. I wanted to be sad. I wanted to be upset. And I didn't want to hear nothing positive. And it was like, once I changed my mindset and I realized that it was tools to keep me going, it was tools for my rucksack. And I think that if we teach it correctly in the Army, then we will realize that if we put on that armor, we put on that optimism, we put on that energy management, if we stack up all this armor on resiliency training, then we know how to react to contact. And I remember when I finished the MRT class, man, I cried. I actually went to the car and I cried. And it was like, why are you crying? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, because I don't know how to deal with general population no more. Because in the class we had kind of formed a network. You know what I'm saying? We was transparent, we was talking to each other, we was opening up, and rank wasn't an issue no more. But we all had one common goal, that we wanted to be a better version of us. So when I left the class, I'm legit. Let me tell you, I left the class like day one. I went back to work, and because everybody knew I went to MRT. Everybody knew I was going through some things and everything. So I came back to work, and I was legit like, went to work, and it's like, good morning, Sergeant Jackson. And I'm like, okay, what tool is this? It was like I was looking, you know what I'm saying, to use my MRT skill. And I'm like, okay. So what you're saying is that like I had like little cards, trying to apply it to daily life, and it was hard for me. So I felt like, you know what, I needed to keep this MRT thing going. I need to live this, because I remember that aha moment that I had when I was sitting in the course. And for me, it changed my life, because I got to know Miley. I got to know Marquita, and I'm still learning who I am. Like 36, and I'm still learning who I am. And I think that that's what's important about MRT, is that it's so much bigger than hunting the good stuff. It's about self-awareness. It's about optimism. It is things that are deeply rooted and embedded in us that we don't even know exist. It's a lot of stuff about you that you will learn in the course that you've been doing it. You just didn't know it had a name to it. And so that's why I say I would ask Sergeant Smith. I don't know her rank. I know her thing is going.
Sergeant First Class Smith.
Sergeant First Class Smith, Roger Sergeant. Sergeant First Class Smith, I would ask her, why would she want to go to that class? Because I know, like, for me, my reasoning for wanting to go was not aligned with what the course is meant to be. It's not meant to be like a stop from behavior health. Is meant to be skills and competencies and tools that help you better identify with the way that you think and the way that you do and the way you move and your consequences, your activating events. Like, it's meant for you to oil up that engine.
Okay. So you talked about one of the competencies that I wanted to bring up to you, and that's self-awareness.
Ooh.
And I think a lot of people, when they think about MRT, sometimes they go, like you say, they go not aware of certain things that's within them. And sometimes we think that we're okay. And Mama used to tell me the first step to fixing the problem is knowing that you have a problem.
Correct.
So with MRT, in your opinion, why is self-awareness critical to an individual that may be going through a course, or just maybe the individual that's going through something in their own life? Why is self-awareness important?
You know what, son? Let me tell you something. Like what your mama said, you can keep on and, sweeping stuff under the rug and sweep stuff under the rug. Let me tell you something. That's going to turn into a big old pile, and you're going to trip up. You're going to have to sit there. You're going to trip up, and you're going to think about it when you're getting up off that ground. And it's like self-awareness is kind of like one of them topics that is forcing people to see their part in it. You know what I'm saying? You got to hold yourself accountable for what you did. And a lot of leaders don't like that. It makes you uncomfortable, because you like, man, well, what really did I do to contribute, to this? And what about me? It's forcing you to take that hard stare as opposed to that quick glance of who you are and how you might be contributing to what's going on around you, good, bad, or indifferent. You're forcing yourself to be held accountable. A lot of folks can't handle that. A lot of people can't handle that. Like Sergeant First Class Lewis said the other day, a lot of people don't like positivity. And that's true. It makes people uncomfortable. So there's a stigma behind, if you're good with yourself, then you're vain or whatever. That don't mean you vain. You love you. You're trying to be a better version of you. And a lot of people can't take that. So I think that self-awareness is prevalent. It's like way up there when it comes to that for me, because once you know who you are, and once you're on a journey of self-awareness to try to figure out what makes you, baby, what people say about you, it's like oil and water. They don't even mix. It rolls right off you. Because when you know who you are, what everybody think about you, it don't even matter. Next slide. And that's what it's about. So it's like, it's a lot about self-awareness that it makes you. I remember like, a lot of people, like when, when everything first started kicking off, as far as like after the COVID, and we started running into all the racial injustices, I actually had a lot of NCOs that kept, talking to me like, Sergeant Jackson, I don't know how to feel. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm upset, but I don't know why I'm upset, or I feel nothing, but I don't know why I don't feel nothing. They felt like they had to have a say so in something, right? And I encouraged them, to take the character strength survey, right? And I know it sounds like a cliche, but it's a lot of things. It's 24 character strength, right? And it's like when it breaks down, I think the purpose of the survey is for you to know what you do naturally, right? When you know your top character strength, you walk into it. It's kind of like you do it like you're breathing. You know what I'm saying? It's just natural. And I encourage them. And a lot of people didn't even know that one we have a character strength for equality, justice. So it's a lot of folks out there that got this in them, and they want to make a change, and they want to make a difference, and they don't know where to go. They don't know how to walk in their purpose because they don't know who they are, and they're battling with that. And that's why that self-awareness is important. That's why those character strengths, knowing what your top character strengths are. And this is backed up by a lot of science. A lot of people don't want to take the survey because it's 240 questions. And you like, man, next. But I encourage you, and I'll make sure I'll tell you more about the link and everything. I encourage you. You just got a moment. It's like maybe an hour to take the survey. You get to know like what fuels your thinking. So when I was telling those NCOs that, they were just kind of like, wow, I didn't know that. That this was out there. I didn't know that it was a character strength for justice. I didn't know that I had a eager to learn. I didn't know that I stood firmly about inequalities because I was never exposed to it. And those are the things in MRT that we don't see on the surface. So when we teach MRT, it's about downward spiraling. It's about thinking traps. It's about, I think very seldom I've heard about the ATC model. I really don't hear about energy management or, deliberate breathing. I really haven't met much about that, but it's always just hunt the good stuff. It's like the easy check the block ones. But when you teach it at the unit, if people would take the time to teach it to standard and not worrying about doing 3-4 classes in a 45-minute time frame, I think that would be more beneficial, and people would gravitate more to the skills and the whole experience of what MRT can do in your life. So I think that is prevalent, and I try to let people see that resiliency impacts readiness, because if you ain't right up here and if your mind is wandering all over the place, whatever mission you got going on, you ain't gonna be worried about it because you're so focused on everything else that's going on. Okay. So it's resiliency equals readiness. I'm telling you, it's there.
So I see this question here that I want to talk about, and it deals with where we at now. So we're going to transition a little bit. So when 2020 has been, I don't know if anybody else feel it, but 2020 has been one of those years.
Battle, I'm waiting for the abominable snowman to run through Central Park at this moment. This has been crazy.
It's been tough. I mean, you had a lot of people that didn't make the first Staff Sergeant to First Class Evaluation Board right at the end of the year. Then we rolled right into 2020. COVID hit, and then we rolled into Ahmaud Arbery in February, and then George Floyd, and then the young lady, I can't remember her name, then the other young man that just died, excuse me. With all of this that is going on, social injustice and the social unrest that we're dealing with in our local communities, as soldiers, there's soldiers that are crying out, looking for leadership to stand up and say something. What is your message to them on how to be resilient in these times being a soldier? What is your message to them? Speak freely.
My message to you is that follow your heart. If that's how you feel, you need to say something. Everything can be delivered and be delivered tactful. A lot of soldiers are battling what to say because they don't know what the response is going to be. But I would encourage you to do your research about what you want to present to the formations. What do you want to present to your leadership? Let them know your concerns. I don't feel like there's any legit commander or first sergeant in any chain of command that will stray you away from speaking about how you feel, because if it's affecting you personally, it's going to affect your readiness. You're not going to be able to facilitate no mission given if that's what's really embedded in you. And a lot of people don't know how to approach it, because they're like, what should I say? You know what I'm saying? Like, what should I do and what should I say? And I think that that's why a lot of people just don't say nothing at all, because they don't want to sound insensitive, and they don't want to be too cocky about it. And they can't really say, don't worry about it, because you don't really wear the skin color I wear. And then it's like, if you wear, a different skin color, then it's kind of like, well, I care, but I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would just say, you have to be optimistic and understand that, don't jump to conclusions. Understand that, because if you speak, or if somebody don't speak, maybe they're not saying what you want to hear, because they might not feel that way that you feel. And I think that the one thing that makes us the most powerful army is the one thing that makes this the most challenging army, is that we're all different. And I think that a lot of times people draw the conclusion that you supposed to feel a certain way, you supposed to say that, or he's the leadership, he's supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? Or he's my commander, he's supposed to say that. My first sergeant's supposed to say that. My sergeant major, he's supposed to say that. But how do you present it to them? And I would say, do your research, learn, express the concern. If you're uncomfortable with bringing, open door policy is there for a reason. Knock on them doors. Stand at attention, stand at parade rest, sir, sergeant major, whoever you want to address, and let them know what your concerns are. Because I feel like it's very necessary, and I don't feel like you should suffer in silence if you're standing in the formation and you feel like you don't have a voice. Like, I don't think that you would be wrong. I don't think that you would be shot down by any leadership that truly, truly cares about the overall well-being of that soldier and that formation. I highly doubt that. I want to believe that that would not be the case.
Okay. So somebody like myself, so I shared this on my personal page a while back. It was like right when I first got here to Virginia. And I went to the store. I was coming out of Wawa. So for those of you who don't know Wawa is like big over here on the East Coast.
That's like the quick trip up there.
Yeah. So I went to Wawa, and I remember I was coming out, and there was a lady coming in. So I came through the door first, and I held the door open, and I said, how you doing, ma'am? She's like, fine. And she was an older white lady. So I'm leaving Wawa, and I was like, you know what? I need to go to the store. So I was driving over to Food Lion. This is a true story. Driving over to Food Lion and going there and I'm getting ready to go in there. So this older gentleman was getting his stuff or whatever out of a basket. So the basket was fixing to roll off. So I held the basket, and the older guy was like, yeah, now take that basket, boy. So wow. I had that moment right there. I was like, what? And he said that to me in the parking lot at Food Lion. I'll never forget it. Ooh. And I couldn't even respond because I was caught off guard by what was said. Now, for those of who that knows me in my personal circle, I love being the professional SGL. I'm not perfect. I love being a professional SGL.
Right.
But I have a side of me that's called D. And when Staff Sergeant Hicks saw the professional SGL sit down and D stand up, that guy from the southeast side of Houston, Texas, South Park, born and raised, Mo City, you know what I'm saying? When he stands up, it's a whole different conversations fixing to happen.
I understand.
But MRT kept me to a point where I was able to be like, all right. And it was self-awareness, which I bring this to this point. It was self-awareness for me because I know who I am. So regardless of what he may have said to me or how he may have reacted to me, I didn't let it bother me because of the self-awareness of who I knew who I was. So in keeping in context with what we were talking about, you have so many soldiers nowadays that they're trying to find their way to deal with the social unrest that's going on within the community. And I think this is where some of them are kind of between and betwixt, because I think leadership sometimes forgets that even outside of this uniform, we're still a part of the community in which where our installation reside.
Right.
We don't keep the uniform on every day.
Right.
We have to go out and deal within the community. So it affects us. So that's why I'm trying to figure out like what resiliency or what MRT skill would you recommend leaders and soldiers that are dealing with this to practice? What do you recommend them to practice? What MRT skill?
Probably that sounds like confirmation biases, Teflon and Velcro. Because what you did that rolled off, it didn't stick to you like Velcro, you know what I'm saying? Because you know who you are. So I would probably say, I think they need to start with self-awareness. And I think that once they figure out who they are and what their character strengths are, what their top 3 are, and I think that will give them a driving force of what they need to operate in. So that's for the character strengths portion. I think they also need to detect their icebergs, because your core values and your beliefs are what going to drive you. That's what's going to drive you. That's what's going to keep you afloat. That's what's going to make you dig down and find that intrinsic motivation for you to do what you're going to do. I definitely think like, oh, wow, activating thoughts and, oh, wow, all of them. I mean, because it's like they all kind of they're all pieces of that car. I hate to keep using
that. You caught that?
They're all pieces of the car because they're all so important, you know? And then it's like energy management. Do I really want to waste all of my energy on this man because of his icebergs? You know what I'm saying? You could have melted that iceberg right there in them streets, but you didn't. You know what I'm saying? It's so many things that you could have done, but then what would have done? You didn't need to waste the energy on him. So I think that energy management is prevalent when it comes to that too. And wow, that's a lot, Soren. Shoot.
Yeah. I mean, so at the end, you said it best. So one of the things that I thought about is that you got to be quick on your toes when something like that happened. Because let's be honest. I was not in uniform. So I don't like to play the, hey, I'm in the military card. I don't like to play that.
Right.
I was in civilian clothes.
Right.
But I am a black male in Virginia on a hot sunny day, and a white male called me boy, and we all know that was a racial term or racial slur that was used back in the days of slavery. So I looked at this. Yeah, I was quick. I said, this could go 2 ways.
Right.
Now, I could probably, I know my parents don't probably, I could probably slap the know what out of him. But then what consequence am I going to think about? Because I'm not thinking, because at that moment, I'm not thinking about my consequences. I'm thinking, okay, guy, you know what? We could do this. But then I went back to detecting my iceberg. My core value belief is, mom always told me, respect your elders. Respect your elders. So he was an elderly man. I wouldn't have got nothing out of slapping or jumping on an elderly man. And then it would have even been a blackened eye on my character of who I am. So I think somebody posted up earlier, we're gonna talk about the ATC model in a second. Self-regulation and self-awareness. So I had to first of all be aware of where I was in this area, because it is prevalent in the area in which Fort Lee is, where we are. It is prevalent. I'm not naive to that. I understand where I'm at in Virginia. And then I had to have enough intestinal fortitude to regulate my emotions,
right,
and not do something that was eventually going to drive my consequences later on that I wasn't thinking about at the time.
Right.
So I think that's the message that we need to convey to our soldiers and our leaders out there, because with everything that's going on with the social unrest and everything, soldiers are wanting to lash out. And I've seen a lot of soldiers post things on social media, and I'm like, that's not the way to do it.
No.
That's not the way to do it. So that's why when you talked about detecting those icebergs, we see what's on the top. And I say this a lot. Everybody has a breaking point.
Yes, we do.
Where enough is enough.
Yeah.
That's it. My breaking point is if you put your hands on my kids,
right,
or you talk bad about my parents, my grandparents,
right,
that's a breaking point with
right.
and hits.
And see, those are your icebergs. Those are your core values and beliefs. But I think that when people try to feel like, see, everybody don't feel that way. And that's, I mean, like, I know in the South, that's ridiculous. What you mean you don't feel that way about your grandma? You know what I'm saying? That's a big thing for us. You know what I'm saying? Being from the South, that's important, right? But everybody don't share those beliefs. And it's like, what we need to realize in the Army is like, there are generational curses and generational prejudices. So for him, that's probably what he was taught. He probably legit didn't see nothing wrong with what he did. He probably really didn't even see that wrong. He probably felt like he was just doing his part. He probably they ain't honored his granddaddy, to be honest with you, by calling you a boy. Mm-hmm. Like that stuff right there, that's deeply rooted in within. You can't change nobody. You can encourage them to educate. It's kind of like that whole thing about the Bible. Every time you go to church, what they say, open up to this scripture. You need to read for your own understanding. Because what you got from that, he probably didn't get from that. So you probably would have been livid, messed up, and he probably just would have felt like, what's wrong with that boy? He probably need to get back in his place. And it's like, that's legit embedded and rooted in him. And I think that's what we try to do. We try to change, and we want to know what people got to say. And it's like, everybody don't tick the same way. Because there's some folks out there that wouldn't have been able to have that self-regulation. They probably would have been like, you know what, I got some bail money. Let's get it on right now, bro. What you want from me? You know what I'm saying? But you are resilient. That's what you did. You showed how resilient you were in that moment because you didn't act on it. You didn't give them no energy. You just let it go. And that's what it's all about. But how long did it take you to get there? At what point could you have not been from Houston?
Took a minute. I'm not gonna lie, because I've said this before over the airways. So I haven't always been the professional SGL, even in the military. So and
it's hard.
Yeah, it is hard, you know, because when you deal with something like that, or just social ignorance in general, it's hard to turn the other cheek and walk away. But that's where it goes back to that self-awareness and self-regulation, that you have to know what makes you tick, which I'm going to use that going into the ATC model. But I want to give you a chance to answer this question from Antonio Jackson. How can you detect those icebergs?
Because you detect those icebergs by asking, like, so when you detect an iceberg, you got to ask those what questions, right? You got to say, oh, preach. So when you detecting those icebergs, you got to make sure that you ask those what questions and not those why questions. Because when you say why, well, why you do that? Well, why you say, what you mean why? Say what you wanted me to do. You know what I'm saying? Automatically, you're going to get defensive. So if I come to you and I'm saying something like, well, why did you, if I already drove my conclusion to something, you just come to me with a concern. And like, say like you, my commander, or my first sergeant, right? I come to you, hey, first sergeant, I want to speak about what's going on in the injustices. And if the response is, well, why you want to talk about that? What you mean, why I want to talk about that? Why you don't want to talk about that? It's like you almost offended and you go to defensive mode because you feel like, oh, you ain't bothered. But the better way to approach that would be like, so what about it that you want to speak about? Okay, I want to speak about it because it's bothering me. What about it's bothering you? Because it's unrest. It's not fair. It's been going on too long, and I want to say something about it. You know what I'm saying? It's the way to approach everything. You have to understand that a lot of people are pissed off right now, first of all, when it comes to everything that's going on. And a lot of people feel like that the Army is shutting up their voices. You know what I'm saying? They feel like they got to be silenced. But with everything, we gotta be professional. You know what I'm saying? We got to approach everything with tact. And I know that it's real hard. Like I'm probably the most misunderstood warrior out there in them streets. But I don't have the same mindset of a 17-year-old coming in the Army as opposed to a 31-year-old coming in the Army. So like my level of, it's like people are threatened and they're scared of what they don't know. So it's like a lot of people don't want to do that research and find out, because what is that saying about them? if you were to make somebody sit down and do the research on what's driving them behind it, they probably don't even know why they're saying what they're saying, what they're doing, what they're saying. It's something that's passed down through generations that they just adopted that mindset and way of thinking, and it ain't even applicable to nothing. It don't even mean nothing. So for him, that dude right there was probably he was a joy thief. You was happy. You coming up out the store, pushing your little cart in the Wawa, you know what I'm saying? You just doing you. And he was probably just mad because you were happy doing you. You never know what that person is going through. And that's really, really messed up, because people will draw their own conclusions about what they feel like right is, but they don't understand that what you see and what is your way, my way, and they way. And you never know what people are thinking. So that guy in the grocery store, he legit probably felt like he was right. He probably told his grandkids about it. Okay. And that's really unfortunate.
ATC model. Let's talk about this activating event.
Oh, Lord.
So I remember I was giving MRT to the incoming students, when they first come to the academy.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you deal with activating event, something like that, you have to know, you have to be self-aware again, because you have to know what upsets you. So I was asking some people like, hey, what are some things that your spouse or your significant other or your children may do to you? And so like some of the activating events I've heard is like, I like the toilet tissue to be coming from the back and not the front. Every time I go in and I sit on the toilet and he puts the toilet tissue coming from the front, it upsets me. Or when my spouse squeezes the toothpaste from the middle and not the end. That's a big one with me too. Oh my God, I can't stand that. Like who does that? Like, so when we talk about activating events, talk to me about the ATC model and the purpose and what it's for.
I think that the big takeaway for the ATC model is that you have to be real with your heat of the moment thought. Because I am pretty sure that when you go in the bathroom and you see that toothpaste all have, you don't say, oh man, what you say for real? Man, this some, you know what I'm saying? You have to be real with you have to understand that those thoughts got to be raw and uncensored. You got to tell it how it is when you trying to, you know what I'm saying? When you thinking about the ATC model, that is like your immediate thought. You have to be raw and uncensored. And you have to think about what are the facts. You can't allow yourself to jump to conclusions when it comes to that. And then what about that toothpaste that drive you crazy? What is it about it?
Okay. So ATC model, let's give a scenario.
Ooh.
I'm young PFC Hicks, right? And I just saw another young black male killed at the hands of police brutality.
Man, you would give me
and raw and uncut. I walk into the shop. I walk into the supply room. Some 92 Yankees jumped on me once and said, quit calling it a supply cage. So it is a supply room. Did I pass that? Yeah. So I come in and I'm upset. So you ask me, Private Hicks, what's going on with you? And I say, man, another black male just got killed again by by racist cops. Like, I'm sick of this. I'm just going off. My heat of the moment thought at that time is, I'm sick of this shit. I'm tired of this. How do you, as that leader, intervene to get them to come out of that heat of the moment thought, to get them to calm back down? What do you say to them?
I would tell them to put it in perspective. I was asking, what are the facts? What are the facts about this? What happened? When did it happen? And I will let them see and understand that everybody got a job to do. Mm-hmm. A lot of times that when we are presented with these issues on the media, we are presented with just that, a selling point. That's what they're telling you. All the facts ain't there. So you have to align the facts with the truth. Once you start to think about it and they say, oh, another black man was just killed. What happened? What was he? What are the facts? So when you start to outline the facts, you start to realize, oh, okay, well, this is what's going on. I think that the problem with the ATC that a lot of people do is they try to predict the ending without knowing all the facts. They try to go ahead on and jump to the end. Ain't nothing gonna happen. Ain't nothing gonna happen. It's gonna be another issue, and they're gonna walk free. Understand what is going on. Allow due process. Then get upset, but you can't get all riled up now until you know what the facts are. The who, the where, the what happened, when did it happen, where did it happen, what about this? You have to see, are you mad, are you sad, are you crying? But you're telling me you mad, and then you mad but you're crying. You got TC disconnect right there. But you're mad, why you crying? Now it's time to find out what that iceberg is. Because if you're mad and you coming up in my office talking to me, you crying, it's a little bigger than what we're talking about right now. This is this activating thought is going a little deeper. So I'm trying to figure out what about this is really driving you to be crying, but you're telling me you pissed off. So it's kind of like all of the MRT skills work hand in hand together. You have to understand that your activating thoughts and consequences, your activating event is driven by your thoughts and consequences, which are your icebergs. That's how you feel about it. And I can't change how you feel about it. I can outline the facts. I can help you put things in perspective. I can help you see what the facts are and what was the most likely income for you to bring it in the middle and see what the end result is going to be based off statistics, but allow it to happen. And it's like a lot of times when people come in fueled, they just want to talk about what's going on, but they don't want to really, they just want to see action. They just want to see action. They just want to see something happen. And then when something happens, we ask what they want to see happen. Well, I don't know. Be the change at your level. If you mad about it, when are we voting? When is election year? What month is election? Okay, we need to make change. Let's find out what we can do to support this cause. So we can't just go out and blow steam and just act ignorant. Like that ain't gonna solve nothing. We have to finesse the situation and get you the proper attention that shine light on this. That's really gonna be proactive. You can't. There's gonna be productive light. You can't just act off of emotions all the time.
So let me ask you this question: in the times that we are faced with right now, so there's so much that's going on in the media and in the world.
Right.
Let me say this first. What would be your message to the senior leaders as far as to why we need MRT in the Army as bad as we do right now? Like, or first of all, do you think that we need MRT training like right now? So you ever notice like whenever somebody committed suicide, they always did a safety stand down.
I knew you was going to say that. And then
they did a safety stand down, and we talked about it. So my first question is, do you think we need a stand down on MRT training in the Army right now or in the military right now?
Yes, we do. It is absolutely.
And what would you, so if you could look into the chief of staff of the Army or the sergeant major of the Army right now, and they were looking at this video, what pitch would you pitch to them as to why you feel that we need MRT right now?
Oh, that's an elevator speech right there for you. Sergeant Major, hey, how you doing? I'm Sergeant Jackson. I want you to understand that the troops are worried. The troops are hurting right now, Sergeant Major. They need understanding. They need a clear and concise ending of what can we expect from the Army. How do we know that the Army shares our voice? We need to implement MRT training in every way possible to standard, not the time. We need to break down and we need to have these handouts. We need to discuss this. We need to have an open Q&A. So our major, understand that resiliency impacts readiness. If we're not resilient or we're so worried and focused on what's going on in the world, how can we execute any mission? Because right now it's looking like we're fighting the biggest battle of our life is right here on our soil. It ain't over there. They sitting over there looking at us like, what the world? It's over here. So we need answers, and we need to equip our soldiers with this mental armor. We need to let them know that resiliency is not about just being like, yeah, I'm positive all the time. Nah, it's about crying. It's about having feelings. It's about having emotions. It's about caring. You gotta care. And I think that's an old school stigma that people think, oh, you ain't gotta care. You a soldier. Nah, care. Be a caring NCO. The soldiers need to know that we care. How do we show them that we care? We properly equip them. It's like they ain't going. Oh, it's like we need to go to CIF. We need to withdraw. We need to draw some gear, and that gear is MRT, and it's on your clothing record, and you need to take it everywhere with you. Because if we treated MRT like that, then I think that we would be better off to react to contact. And it needs to be proactive, not reactive. It should not happen when something happens. It shouldn't be when tragedy strikes. It shouldn't be. We shouldn't be trying to do MRT now after everything else done happened. because it's meant to be proactive. You need to keep on doing it, exercise it, equip yourself with these tools, familiarize yourself with it. I'm a level 1 MRT. I got my notes, my binder, my iPad. I got stickies, I got cards, I got everything. And I walk around with it because all the time, some of the things that the soldiers are going through, you can't always relate. You always don't have the answers, and that's okay. But that's what you having that presence as an NCO, because you might not know what to say. And I say that this is still for the Sergeant Major of the Army or whoever's watching in higher headquarters. You might not know what to say, but you just being there is speaking volumes. It's just being that listening ear, letting the soldiers know that their voice matters and it means something. You ain't just your battle roster number. You ain't just another warrior going down range to be dismissed and discarded. Your opinion matters. We are in the business of service. We are in the business. We got people, kids in our possession. We are taking care of people's sons and daughters. Okay. So we need to take this serious. We need to know that you got us, Sergeant Major. Even if you don't agree, let me know that you good. So I can Charlie Mike this mission. You got me? All right, let's go. Then what we doing? What time we executing this mission? Because all I need to know is that you're there for me. And once I know that you're there, baby, it's golden. Whatever else you need. You need me to do this? 2 miles? Bet. Let go. I mean, it's like that fuel. Because when you got leadership that really don't care nothing about you, you don't care nothing about them. So even if you don't know what to say when it comes to resiliency, you might not even believe in being resilient. You might be one of them old school warriors that just feel like, oh, soldiers supposed to be tough. Soldiers got feelings. And they shouldn't be treated or ostracized or outcast because they got feelings about what's going on there, what's going on there. And you might not be able to relate, but preserve their feelings and let them know that you are there for them. Because you don't get to pick your soldiers. You don't get to pick your battles. You don't get to pick anything that you might be enduring through life. But what you need to know is that if you are equipped with these MRT skills, you might not always get it right. And this is a journey. This ain't something you just gonna always get. You ain't just gonna come out the house, hey, I'm hunting good stuff. Yeah, this is good. This is good. Nah, you're gonna cry. You're gonna still be upset, and you're gonna break down, and you're gonna pick yourself back up, and you're gonna keep moving. And I think that that's what the soldiers want to know. When the commanders and the command teams are not addressing the formation, they feel like they don't care. It's like that feedback. You want to know that you're doing something. I don't know what to say right now, but understand, I feel your pain. If you got any questions, come see me. You know what I'm saying? Just provide that presence. And I think that with that presence, you'll find a lot about your soldiers and get to know your soldiers. I feel like a lot of this is about getting to know who you're serving alongside with. Because when you know who you're serving alongside with, you can already dang near see what their issues and what their battles are going to be. And it's kind of like you'll be able to facilitate that, get to know people, make those connections. Connections are important when it comes to resiliency. And that's what I'm saying. It's so misunderstood that it's just about hunting the good stuff and pimping it out. That's the easy stuff. Get down to the nitty gritty, the raw stuff. Let's talk about this self-awareness. Let's talk about why you bullying me. What's going on? Why you bullying me? You know what I'm saying? And I think that when you get down to that, that's the stuff that's dismissive because it's forcing you to take a long stare at the warrior that you really are. And I think that a lot of people, if they were to just open up and give the whole MRT experience a chance and don't look at it as a check the block, I think it would change their lives. Even if you don't take nothing else from it, you'll understand that that person don't think like you and that person don't think like you, and that's okay. But I respect you enough to accept whatever you crying. I don't know what you're crying for, but I got you. I'm here to listen. And I think that that's what we all want from the leadership. I think
so I would say this: if Sergeant Major, I know some higher leadership up in the Pentagon does follow this page, and I hope this video would make it to him because one thing that you said is that we need MRT now because MRT is built to have those open, raw conversations, and it gives people an avenue of how to get off what they're saying, and you can't retaliate or against people because of what they say in these sessions. You can't judge them. You can't look at them any different because you have to be able to listen and understand where that individual is coming from. So, I mean, that message to the Chief of Staff and the Sergeant Major of the Army, I think it was spot on because I see Freestyle every day said, you know what? People wear uniforms. I don't care what your rank is, what your duty title is, chief of staff, chairman of the joint chief of staff, secretary of defense, or whoever. When you take that uniform off at the end of the day, you are a person when you put it on, and you are a person when you take it off. And I definitely agree with you about MRT is a much needed thing right now in the Army. So before we even get ready to get off of here, I want you to tell me about your page. What are we doing over here? What is it? What is it called?
Ooh, so pretty much like we talked about earlier, everybody don't want positivity, right? Don't nobody want to hear no good stuff and all that. Some people just want to waddle in their sadness, right? And I understand that. And I actually was inboxed one time on the 92 Yankee Club page, and it was kind of like, hey, why are you posting these MRT videos on 92 Yankee Club page? Like, what does it have anything? It's not about supply. So why are you posting on the page? And I'm thinking, like, you got memes on the page, you know what I'm saying? You got TikToks and everything else, but the moment that you try to speak positivity, you want to shut it down. To me, that's a problem, right? Because and most of the time, you know what I'm saying, is if I can just reach one person, I'm good with that, right? Just one person. If one person see the video, I'm Gucci. That's all that matters. Everybody ain't gonna be able to relate to it, and that's fine. But for me, when I do the videos, I'm a visual person. I'm a kinesthetic learner. I learn, you know, through repetition. I see things differently, right? So when I do the videos, it's a reenactment of what's in my mind. So when I post the videos, a lot of people don't necessarily know how to receive them, and that's okay. So my point, my purpose to make the page was to allow the information to be there if they want it. I don't want this. You can't push resiliency on somebody. You can't force them here. Be positive. Understand resiliency. Do this. You can't push it on them. You can lead them, but you can't make them drink. So I made the platform to post a series of events. So that way, if they wanted to get in their rucksack and get in it, you know, pull something out and, oh man, I'm dealing with this. Oh man, I remember this tool. I remember that tool. I remember this tool. So it's an avenue, and it's there. It's something that they can use for their tools. And the future of it, I believe that I'm being used as a vessel. You know what I'm saying? This is MRT, and optimism and resiliency is still a journey for me. And I'm in there with you. I need resiliency as well. I'm growing in this process, and understand that we all are. We ain't gonna always get it right. But I do believe that I'm being used as a vessel. And my platform was created just for that purpose. So I'm doing the videos and I have the platform. So if you want it, it's there. If you need a different way of approach, it's there. Because when people inbox me and say, well, I want to do this, but I don't know how to do it. Hey, I got a video for that. There's a skill for that. This is that. So it's like anything that's indoctrinated in the Army, we can always read, you know what I'm saying, a regulation or a reference, or we can read and figure it out. But there is a technical learner and there's a tactical learner, right? A lot of people can't just read doctrine and just be able to execute. And hey, that's me. I can't. You got to show me what you're talking about. So that was the purpose of the platform, is to give a visual representation of what it means and what you look like and what I look like when these events are going on in life. And it ain't always perfect. It's at home. It's a relationship with your kids, with your spouses. It's everything. It's every MRT is prevalent to regardless of what walk of life you in, whether you're a civilian, soldier, everywhere. You're doing it and it's there. And the platform was created for just that purpose, because you can't push it on somebody. They have to be willing. Because you ever tried to help somebody and somebody came to you with a problem, but you already knew that they was going to answer it the way they wanted to answer it? Kind of like that. They came to you so you to listen, but they already knew they was going to say it at the end. And that's kind of like what the platform is intended for. If you want it, it's there. So
what's the name of it?
The Optimistic Warriors Den.
The Optimistic Warriors Den.
Warriors Den. Because you know the den, a little south. You know the den is like a little living room. That's the furniture that you could sit on. That ain't the furniture with the plastic over there in the corner. That's the furniture that you can sit down and look at TV and everybody sit there and chit chat. You know what I'm saying? It's like a den, you know? And the Optimistic Warriors is, you have to be optimistic and have hope and believe that what we're experiencing right now in this time, it got to get better. And I think the more optimistic way of looking at what's going on around is that we are making history. And I love to see where we're going with this. And it's a lot of casualties that's going on for what's going on right now in the world. It's a lot of casualties for us to get to this end state that we so desperately need. And it's over. It's overdue. It needs to happen a long time ago. But I think that the changes that are being made for the greater good of all human mankind, I think it's amazing. And I'm so happy that I'm getting to see what's going on in this world. And we have to believe that there's better. We have to believe it's better. You know,
Okay.
we have to hold on to hope.
I will say this. So ladies and gentlemen, I endorse this page. I have watched it. I watched the videos that go out there. And one of the things I want to do is for all of you 8 Romeos out there, you ever go do MRT training and they got the same tired videos of the old guy that pops up and he's like, you're stuck in the thinking trap.
Oh man,
it gets so old. So I would like to see a different perspective on as far as the videos. So one of the things, I didn't tell you this earlier, but one of the things that I am starting to do is I am reaching out to the MRT personnel at the Pentagon to see if we could incorporate your videos in the MRT training to get something different, because the videos are different. And you remember the one training, I can't remember what it was, but we used to do, you had to go on arms and do this one training. It was always the old sergeant in the BDUs. We haven't been in BDUs in how long? It was the same video, but as time changed. So I am on a mission to locate who can we talk to get them to look at these pages and see if we can use these videos in the MRT training. And I think that because the videos that we have now, I'm gonna be honest, they're tired, they're outdated, they're boring. Let's just keep it 100. So that is one of the things that I am in the process of doing. So I fully endorse this page. I would like everybody to go and look at the Optimistic Warrior Den. Trust me, especially my 8 Romeos out there. Or if you just maybe just going through something and you say, you know, what was the name of that page? Listen, the Optimistic Warrior Den is where you need to be. So you heard it by yours truly, the Professor SGL. And I don't just endorse people's pages. I don't just do that. I like to know what I'm looking at first. I like to know what I'm doing. And if I believe that it is of relevance, then I don't mind endorsing that individual's page. So I fully endorse your page. So,
you know what? I appreciate you on so many levels. And let me tell you something, boy, and then it's amazing. You know, first of all, thank you on so many levels. I don't even think I have enough words in my mind that I can, you know, express to let you know how humble and grateful I am for just your statement alone, Sarn, because your platform is like everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is kind of like watching the Cosby Show back in the day. You know what I'm saying? That sit around and everybody kind of gather up, and it's something to look forward to. And I think that you are awesome, humble warrior that you don't harbor nothing. Everybody can eat. You know what I'm saying? And with that mentality, Sarn, you're gonna go far. And I endorse you. You know what I'm saying? I support you. We down here up in Georgia. And I know you got a plat, you know, you trying to figure out your thing with your t-shirts. Behind that, let me tell you what fans do. Let me show you what fans do.
What in the world?
You know what I'm saying?
Yo.
Yeah. Oh, we find a way in these streets, honey. And let me tell you, you might not know, you know what I'm saying, what vendor you want to use as far as your t-shirts and your brand. But I appreciate you. I appreciate, you know what I'm saying, your mentorship, your guidance. I know before I got started, I reached out to you and you actually reached back out. And I appreciate that. But to have mentors and leaders like, you know, Sergeant Major Hollyburton and Sergeant First Class Lewis, there's like a network, you know, Sergeant Major Estrada, like there's a network of y'all that make yourself available. And it's like, it's so awesome because oftentimes when you're trying to venture off and when you on a journey, and you just trying to be a better version of you, the people closest to you, they ain't gonna support you. But I appreciate you seeing, you know what I'm saying, the good in me. And it means everything. And I don't think that, I don't take that lightly, sorry. It means a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? I remember when you first said my name, when you was talking to Master Sergeant Price, I was like, oh my God, girl, he said my name. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was excited. And I felt like, dang, that's what's up, man. He believed in me. That's what's up. And it meant a lot. And I appreciate you too, Sergeant First Class Canonis. I call him all the time. I get stuck in the supply room. He answered that phone too. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that. And I just want you to know that I appreciate you. You're so humble. You know, you bring a lot to the core. And if I'm half of what you are, that what you've established in this platform, man, I know I'll be all right.
Wow.
And you are one of the true rare leaders that I'm really, really happy to know. And I know we both, you know what I'm saying, staff sergeants, but you on a whole new level. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate you.
I appreciate that too. So I will tell you this before we go. First and foremost, I appreciate the shirt. So man, when you got fans that like send you stuff, man, like it's crazy, man. Like the people out there that think about the professional SGL, man. So like I'm humbled. I know Sergeant Major Clarkman was on last night. He sent me a pay it forward shirt. And you know, I got, you know, people making stuff for me and t-shirts and whatever, man. Listen, I really do appreciate it. I will give you some open on-air mentorship that I want you to take back with you to your page. And I'm serious when I tell you this, what I'm about to tell you.
Roger that.
There are going to be some days where you're going to feel like ain't nobody listening to your message, that nobody's watching your videos, that don't nobody care about this, and you're going to want to give up. The one thing I want to tell you is, especially like when I grew this platform, is that when you learn to make that it's not about you, you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
When you learn to make that it's not about you, that the reason that you built that platform is not for Marquita or Molly, it's not for you. It's for everybody else that's coming behind you. And right. I want you to remember that eventually your message is going to come across. And I'm telling you this from me to you, because I started where you are. And don't tell me that it can't be done, because look at NCOPD Live.
Right. Period.
So continue to do what you're doing. I fully support you. I endorse you. So don't get discouraged when it looks like people are not watching. Trust me, if you reach one person, that person is going to tell somebody, and that person is going to tell somebody. And eventually, before you know it, over 8,000, I don't even know where we at now, will end up watching you. Make sure your content is relevant. Make sure your content is clear and concise. And Sergeant Jackson, there's nothing that you cannot do but keep pushing your platform. You understand me?
I do. That was everything, sorry. You know, I'm an emotional warrior. Stop now.
Yeah.
That was everything. And I appreciate that. And I just wanted to, you know, tell I don't even, like you said, you don't know the number anymore. I don't have the answers, you know what I'm saying, to any, you know, to everything out there. And I don't. But I do have, because I know a lot of soldiers in the barracks, they, you know, apparently they don't have Facebook, you know, they have, you know, YouTube. So I am on YouTube with Molly, the Optimistic Warrior. So on YouTube is Molly, the Optimistic Warrior. And I am on Facebook as well and YouTube. And I just want anybody out there to know that if you're going through something, if I can help you, or if you've heard anything or seen anything in my videos that I can assist you with, I don't take your time for granted. If you've ever commented on one of my videos, I always make sure that I respond, because I appreciate the time that you took to actually watch my videos. They're not rushed. I can't get across an impactful skill or competency to you in a minute. But if you took the 6 minutes or 5 minutes or 4 minutes to watch my video, I want you to know that I appreciate that. And it means everything. And I think that time is one of the most unappreciated possessions that we have. And I don't take that for granted. I am a very caring NCO. I love hard and I care about these troops, because I do feel like that our parents are entrusting us with their children. And I don't take that for granted. So you can call me Staff Sergeant Sharman, baby, because I'm soft and I care. And I'm fine with that. So if you ever find yourself stuck in any type of battle, whether it be, you know what I'm saying, Yankee, I'm a reclass, I ain't gonna lie, but we can Google some stuff together. But when it comes to any type of obstacle that you're dealing with, I will respond. If you inbox me, message me on Facebook, I will have the link. I'll post it in the comments once the video, you know, post. And it is the Optimistic Warriors then. And you can share anything off my page, any content. I know I actually had an NCO. She told me that she used one of my videos, the one on how to address the formation, because she didn't know how to address it. And I appreciate that. Ferguson is her last name. And she used one of my videos in her formation, and I appreciated that because it made me see that it's getting out there. And it's not about the views and the numbers. And I know when you started your platform, that it's never about that. Nope. Understand that this is not just a me doing videos or me being optimistic like I'm better than you, man. I'm not always up there, but understand that I ain't down there either. You know what I'm saying? And we can figure this out together. I'm a level 1 MRT, but I do have hope, and I believe in the power of optimism and resiliency. I still got my binders. I got my, all my MRT, course curriculum. I still got it with me, and I carry it. And I mean that if anybody find themselves stuck in any type of issue mentally or whatever, and you can't confide in somebody, just know that you can confide in me, and I know that I can confide in you, and I appreciate that.
I appreciate. So before I let you go, real quick, one character trait that you just said that I want you to keep to, always remain tangible. When somebody reach out to your page, always try to reply back to them, or somebody leave a comment up under your one of your videos.
Right.
Always be that tangible leader, because you never know, that may mean the best to them. That may mean the world to them. I'll never get this. Command Sergeant Major Smalls, he's fixing to retire now. He's no longer the commandant.
Yeah, he was my company. I was there.
Yeah, so he said it was a soldier that was walking in the academy. I was walking down the hall, and she's like, "Oh my God, you're the professional!" Like loud, and I'm like, "Yeah, son, like yeah, like okay, like." She's like, "Oh my God, like can you come talk to my class? Like I just want to take a picture with you, like."
Right.
But, so I blew it off. I was like, "Okay, yeah, like good." So Sergeant Major Smalls told me, he said, "Hey, never do that, because that to them, just to see you walk, and they know you work at the academy though, so just for you to stop and have a conversation with them or talk to them, that means a lot to them." So like when you reply back to them, or you always be tangible, keep that in mind. It means a lot.
Yeah, and it does. I mean, because I remember you responded. I said some on one of your videos, and you was like, "Good job, Staff Sergeant Jackson, TPSGL." I'm like, "What? Mama, we made it." You know what I'm saying? Like I felt it gave me a different type of validation. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like, oh yeah, it's on the popping right now. And I call you, I know you, it's the professional SGL, but I say the top SGL. I don't know, whatever. But that's how it is for me. You know what I'm saying? I say top. And because I appreciate that. And you are humble. And a lot of times you don't realize what you can say and a way that you can respond. Effective praise. The way that you respond sometimes let people know that you're actually listening. You care what they're talking about. And you actually care that they like your content, because ain't nobody no bigger than nobody. And a lot of people will feel like, oh, baby, I got this rank and I got that rank and I'm higher than you or whatever. Nah, because like you said, we're going to all take this uniform off, and all you're going to have is you and that man in the mirror. And you have to be at peace and know that you did everything that you can do for anybody that reached out to you. And if that's fine with you, that's fine with you. But we are all humans. We all care. We all have emotions. We all fall down in some way or another. We might not want to admit it, but we all going through something. And it's okay to know that what you say sometimes when you just say something like, hey, or good morning, that right there can go so far. And you don't know that might be that extra push that just made that person feel like that they can keep going. You just oiled up that engine. I'm still using your metaphor, honey. You might want to can that, honey, because I might put that on a t-shirt. I might have it broke down like a TM up in here talking about, this is the trunk, this is the car. I mean, you got me thinking about which part of the car is the best part of the car, because shoot, I thought it was the tires to keep on moving, but I can't go nowhere if I ain't got no gas.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the one and only Staff Sergeant Marquita Molly Deadwyler-Jackson. She was in the building. Great show tonight. Listen, sorry, I appreciate you coming on to the show. I appreciate you taking the opportunity and giving some great content about MRT. Once again, she's on YouTube. She's on MRT. I mean, she's on, got me saying MRT. She's on Facebook. On YouTube, it is Molly, the Optimistic Warrior Den. And on Facebook, it is the Optimistic Warrior Den. So once again, I implore you all to go like and follow this page. And if you got some MRT training coming up, there's some great videos on there for you to use as well. So before we get out of here, listen, I almost forgot. My team texted me about 5 minutes ago, like, do not forget. So I made a video earlier today about the t-shirts and everything. So I had like 5 of y'all send me some names of some companies to the t-shirts, because I just don't want the people robbing the followers. I really don't. And the prices that they were trying to do, I wasn't feeling it. And so I'm thinking of you all when we launched this clothing line. So I pulled it back, but nevertheless, thank you for all of those that sent some names of some companies where we can actually go and try to look and see if we can get a better deal. So we will be letting you know when that comes out. And as always, for all of you out there that know it, say it with me. If you see something wrong and you fail to do something about it, then you have just created a new standard. And at the end of the day, their issue is never with you, but their issue is with the standard. This has been yours truly, Staff Sergeant Hicks, hashtag the professional SGL, along with my special guest tonight, Staff Sergeant Jackson. We'll see you all next week. Have a good night and have a good week.